Yo, yo, yo. Yo, 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 yo. It's your girl, Young Ash, for another episode of I Be Ballin. Yeah, man. This episode is going to be about the WNBA and, women's basketball. And I'm going to talk a little bit about each WNBA team and what they've done in free agency and in the off season. It's like a WNBA season preview, if you will. And I'm also gonna talk about something new I heard. ESPN is launching, a season-long women's basketball fantasy game. That's what's up. And I'm gonna talk about, you know, the queen of basketball. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about her. And I'm gonna tell you that, a documentary about her, the queen of basketball, Miss Harris, won an Oscar recently, and then I'm gonna talk about some important news about, a situation about Brittney Griner. And so, before I start, I want to say that the WNBA draft is on April 11th. I'm filming this, in March, so, you know, don't be saying, hey, what about, you forgot this person and that person, you forgot about Howard and Smith. No, I didn't forget about them. I'm just doing this a little bit early, so forgive me. So I'm not adding any recent rookies, just so you know. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok, Ashley I BE BALLIN. And also make sure you subscribe, like, and comment on my YouTube channel, I BE BALLIN Basketball Show, for more episodes. Now, without further ado, let's get it done. What it do? All right. So first, I'm gonna talk about um the ESPN launching the very first full-scale women's basketball fantasy game. And this is for all of my fantasy lovers that love to bet, because, I be hearing about the fantasy basketball. This player is on my team and he's not doing so well. Well, now this is for the ladies. This is for the ladies. And I think this is going to grow the women's game because people love betting, people love making money, you know. And so all the fantasy lovers out there, they're going to want to watch women's basketball, look into these teams and these players, learn more about them because they're going to want to get some, moolah, some chick shane, they're going to want to be a part of this because it's money. You leaving money on the table, basically, it's another side hustle you can get it on. So the women's game is going to automatically grow from this, right? So, also, they're going to help you with managing the rosters. This is going to be available at ESPN Fantasy online and on the app. Customizable settings for the number of teams per league, scoring formats, player rosters, public and private league options. And for my ESPN Plus subscribers, I am one of them. There's going to be exclusive league options. They're going to help assist you with drafts, rosters, trades, analytical tools, all that insights, right? And so this is going to be good for the women's game because you want to get more revenue, you want to get more exposure. And so people going to be like, okay, when the season start, okay, when this team play, and they're going to get more involved in it. It's going to be good for the game, right? And you want to, you want more viewers, right? So how do you get more viewers? This is one way. You bet on it. You're like, okay, this player gonna score this many. Okay, this player gonna get this many assists. Um, this is gonna help partnerships, sponsors, all the whole 9 yards. This is gonna help them, right? And I want to talk a little bit about, obviously the women's game is growing. I like that the CBA increased increased the revenue sharing. Now it's 50-50. It's no longer 25%. So that's going to help, women get paid more. And, the flights are going to be a little more better. The hotel accommodation is going to be better. Maternity leave, they're going to help you with, adoption and surrogacy, Oh, and there's also going to be additional bonuses, prize, cash, tournaments. And I think that's going to be really, really good for the game. Now, I want to talk a little bit about, I want to mention that Becky Hammon is the, richest, coach. She's making $1 million, right, per year, and that's never happened, right? And Liz Cambage, who was Los Angeles Ace, but now she is a LA Spark. What up? A lot of people made a big deal about what she said. She wasn't hating on Becky Hammon, in my opinion. She was just saying, hey, the coach is getting this moolah, the front office getting this moolah. Now the players need to be getting this moolah, okay? And now in the CBA, they raised the total price by 53%, right? The top players can earn more than $500,000 a year in cash, right? Which is triples the maximum cash compensation. So I think that's big because, last year the average pay for a WNBA player was, 116,000, right? So I understand what Liz Cambage is saying. The coach is making millions. Well, why can't we do the same thing? And it's just going to take time. It's going to take more sponsorships, more partnerships, people actually watching the WNBA. Because when I hear people talk about the WNBA, I bet you people don't even know how many teams there are, the names of the teams, the states that have it, what season they actually play in, how many months. People don't really know that. People know, some of the top players, they be in commercials and all that. But also, marketing needs to do a whole lot better, right? There needs to be a whole lot of commercials, whole lot more commercials, and show different players in those commercials, not just the same players. More marketing, more promoting, because even when the games are on ESPN, you would have no idea that it's going to be on ESPN. They might market it maybe once during the day, and then that's about it, And unless you're actually watching the games, they talk about the, games that's going to be on TV. But if you're not actually watching the WNBA game, you wouldn't know that, Unless it's in your state, you wouldn't know that. So I think the WNBA needs to do a better job at marketing, promoting, NBA TV, ESPN, they need to do a better job at promoting when it's going to be on television, when the season starts. Because you see all these league pass, commercials about the NBA, but where's the WNBA league pass? I have never seen a commercial for the WNBA league pass. So I think they need to do a better job at that, I'm going to talk a little bit about each team, what I feel is, what different type of moves they made, just a little bit, and if you don't know the names of the teams, it's okay, we all learning. I don't know every WNBA player, I don't know every NBA player, but, I watch the games and I learn, First, I'm going to start off with the Phoenix Mercury. They have a big three. They have Brittney Griner, free Brittney Griner. They have Skylar Diggins. They have Diana Taurasi, DT. People could call her the GOAT. But now they got Tina Charles. She led the NBA in scoring. She, is an MVP, Rookie of the Year. She a Olympic gold medalist. This is big. You can't double team, Diana and Brittney anymore. Um, they have a new head coach, Vanessa Nygaard. I hope I pronounced that right. And they just have they picked up the Shields, Diamond the Shield. She was, on the Chicago Sky. She a champion. You had to do what you had to do, and they did trade Bria Hartley to the Indiana Fever, to get Diamond the Shields. But I think Diamond the Shields, she's a good player with good potential. She didn't really blossom, with the Sky, last year, but maybe this year she'll have a different role and can blossom. They kept Kia Nurse, who's a 3-point specialist, Sophia Cunningham, who is a great tough player, like splashing threes on them. They have Bria Turner. They have a lot of big, high usage players, so that's gonna be the only thing they need to figure out. They like the Phoenix Suns. We lost in the finals, so let's get better. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the New York Liberty. Stephanie Dawson. I really like her personality. I really like her game. She's an experienced big. She hit threes, post up. I really like the Sky. I don't like that she left, but oh well, she's from NY. She almost brought Breanna Stewart there with her. Maybe next year, I don't know. They re-signed Beck Allen. They obviously have Sabrina, who is a very entertaining player who's only gonna get better. Laney, Natasha Howard. I really like her game. She's a two-way player. They did lose some key bench rotation players, so look out for that. Let's see if they can get it together. I'm gonna talk about the Mystics. I really like Elena Deladon, and I hope she can, stay healthy for a whole season so they can get back in contention. But they got a dynamic point guard. Her name is, I hope I pronounce this right, Rue Machadida. She gonna lead the second unit because last year, Natasha Cloud was, handling the ball and got a little tiresome. So Cloud's gonna be really happy about that. And they also got the number one pick, and I'll talk a little bit about two of the players that's gonna go one or two. They also have Ariel Atkinson. I really like her game. And I think as long as Elena Deladon is healthy, they have a chance. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Connecticut Sun. You know what I mean? They re-signed JJ Jones, Jonell Jones, Jonquel Jones. They added Courtney Williams. She got that swag, you know what I'm saying? That defense, that swag. So I think it's really going to help them, especially when, she helped them when they almost went all the way when she was on that squad. And they re-signed JJ, she kind of reminds me of Karl-Anthony Towns, score inside, score outside, you know. They got Alyssa Thompson, who's, man, she tough. She tough. She the definition of a tough dog, you know what I'm saying? And, she plays through injuries and she always got that little shot. I don't know how she be making it, but she be making it. They add gritty rebounding guard, right? Who's one of the most improved players, Brianna Jones. They have Jasmine Thompson, right? They also have Dewana Bonner. Dewana, man, she is so skinny, but she's tough as nails. She kind of got the Kevin Durant frame. She's so skinny, but man, she can do it all. Defense, rebounding, scoring, shooting. She can do it all, man. I've been a fan of hers for a while. And I be looking at her arms like, dang, man, she's strong. She's strong, but she's skinny. And I'm like, dang, how she do it? I bet if we did an arm wrestling, she would beat me. And my arm, I got a little flub, but okay. Seattle Storm. I was about to say, Breanna Stewart, you're not gonna leave at when Sue Bird, this is her last year possibly, right? You're not gonna leave to New York. You can do that later. She signed a 1-year max deal. So that's a sign like, yo, Sue Bird gonna be out of here, so I wanna be out of here. But the fact that they resigned, excellent. The fact that Sue Bird, one more year. Yo, that's golden that she stayed one more year. And, after this year, they're going to be like, one more year again. Right? They also re-signed Jewel Boyd. She got that Kobe mentality in her game, And this is going to be their year to make that final run for Sue Bird, And I think as long as they're healthy, they're going to be one of those teams that is there at the end. I'm going to talk about LA Sparks. Liz Cambage, I really love her, swag, her personality, her spirit. She left the Aces. Playing time in the playoffs was a little down, but now she's with the Wnba sisters, Shanae and Nick. I don't know how. I think they're going to be a lot better next year with Liz Cambage in the middle and, with the sisters, with the twin sisters. But let's talk about Jordan Canada, right? She's from the Storm. She's a defensive guard. She needs to work on her shot a little bit, But I like JC. I like her game, right? They also acquired, the fourth pick of the 2020 draft, Shanae Carter, right? And they also got a big wing floor spacer and Katie Lou, I'm going to say, Samuelson. Okay, all right. And they got the ninth pick in the 2022 draft. So I think with all those keys, if they can put it together, they could possibly make it to the playoffs. I don't know if Derek Fisher is a good coach, though, but, I ain't even gonna get into it. Minnesota Lynx, I think they got some of the best fans in the WNBA. Their crowds always be jumping and full. They got, Angel McCoughtry. She's one of the best dynamic slashers in the game. And, also, I hope I pronounce her name right. I'm going to say Collier, right? She's going to be working her way back from pregnancy. So I think getting Angel is really going to help them at the forward positions. And they got one of the best coaches in the game. So I think they're definitely going to make the playoffs. All right, I'm going to talk about the Aces, right? They re-signed a lot of their players. Asia Wilson, I love their squad. And they got Becky Hammond, y'all. They got Becky Hammond, my girl. I wish she would have got a job coaching in the NBA. But, Becky Hammond's probably saying, I want to coach, be a head coach. I want to get pizzazed now. So I think the NBA, coaching in the NBA is still in her future. But right now, she's going to try to win some chips in the W, And I need Asia Wilson to get a ring, man. I need her to get a ring. As long as it's not against the sky, you know what I mean. They got Chelsea Gray, who, man, she's clutch. Big point guard, she's clutch. Kelsey Plum, Man, her game has improved. She knows everything to do. She can lead the second unit, you know, and win 6-man awards. You know, she can do it all, man. Jackie Young, DeKara Hammy, you know, right? Um, they have Rakana Williams. They got Stokes, but it's still a slim bench, so they need to, you know, improve their bench. But man, I want to see Becky Hammond get a ring, Asia Wilson get a ring, man. I need it, man. I need them to win a ring so Becky Hammond can say, "What now, NBA? What now?" And Asia Wilson, she's one of the best players in the game, especially from that mid-range point, you know. I love her style. She got her own sneaker coming out. She's a great face for the league. Indiana Fever. They got some good veteran presence. Kelsey Mitchell. All right, they traded for Bria Hartley. That's what I said in the beginning. But they've been losing their first round picks of the last 2 years. And so that ain't good. That ain't good. So whoever you draft this year, Indiana, please do everything in your power to keep that player. You know, waiving the players. Now, maybe they just didn't work out. Maybe, you know, basketball's still in the future. But you need to draft the right players and mold them and I don't know, keep them, you know what I mean? It's like OKC when they be losing all of their draft picks. It's like, yeah, you come on now, you gotta keep some of these guys, otherwise, what's the point, right? You know, hey, I drafted KD, and I'm not saying the players that they waived are KD. That's far from the truth. But I'm just saying, pick the right players, develop them. You know, Dallas Wings. I'm I like their team. They got Lusia Harris, Alicia Gray. You know, they got Mabry. Um, they have What? Arike Abawale. Oh, I killed it on the second. I killed it on the second try. She's actually from Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin represent. So I love watching her play. You know, she's also related to Diamond Stone. You know, he played in the NBA a little while. But I love her game. She could score in college. She was very clutch. Y'all know it. And Dallas, they need to get veterans. Otherwise, all their young players can only do so much. If you want them to be a playoff team and a playoff contender and then a championship contender, you need some veterans to put around Enrique. For real, man. I'm gonna talk about the Atlanta Dream. They got the third pick. They got McDonald, you know, and I think she's gonna be a real good piece for their future. You know, they have Tiffany Hayes, Nia Coffey. They all re-signed, and I love watching Tiffany Hayes because she can score on all three levels. You know what I mean? They also traded for Kia Vaughn. Hit the Vaughn, hit the Quan, yeah. And I think that veteran leadership is gonna serve them good. I'm drinking Propel, sign a girl, excel, Propel, don't derail, drink Propel. You know what I mean? Just covering a little bit about the basics. Alright, I'm going to talk a little bit about my favorite NBA team because it got one of my favorite players on it, Candace Parker. They the defending champs in the sky. Cleo Copper, you can't stop her. She's strong like copper. You know what I mean? Cleo Copper, man, she's great at rebounding, you know. She's improved so much. and she could score, and she's the finals MVP. But I'm gonna tell you what I really like. They was able, okay, did they lose Diamonds to Shields, and Dawson? Yes. But they added an assistant coach, right? Ann Walters, right? Former WNBA player. She, her basketball mind, her basketball IQ is high. So this is gonna be extremely great. And she helped land 2019 W Finals MVP, someone who I really like it playing, but sometimes she's not playing in the W. I need her to play every season. Emma Misamin. I hope I pronounced that right. And they also got 2020 Rookie of the Year candidate Julie Alimand. I hope I pronounced that right. Right? So stolen from the Mystics, stolen from the Fever. I think this is gonna really help this guy try to defend their title, man. For real, man. For real, man. The next thing I'm gonna talk a little bit about is, okay, so I talked a little bit about some of the WNBA teams, some of the players, some of the moves they made. Did I talk about every player? No. But I gave you a little bit of summary, a little summary. Um, like I said, I'm not gonna talk about the WNBA prospects, even though Ashley decided to go back to school, which hey, you can't beat college. Want that college experience. I'm just gonna talk about two of the top players. One's gonna go one, one's gonna go two. I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. I hope I pronounced this right. She's from Baylor. She's a forward from Baylor. Nalisa Smith. I like how they spell her name too. Nalysssa. I like that. Averaging 20 points, 12 rebounds. She can dominate on the defensive end. Averaging one block, and she's gonna bring a lot of size. And yeah, Baylor didn't go very far, but I don't really think that's gonna affect status or anything like that. And then I'm going to talk about her competition to go number one. I hope I pronounced this right. I'm just going to say Howard, Connecticut guard wing, because I don't want to pronounce these names wrong and then y'all mad at me. Y'all mad at me. You know what I mean? So that's why you say the last name. Some people you say the first name. I'm going to say Rhyne. I like how it's spelled Rhyne. She's a dynamic scorer. She has defensive potential. Her, numbers improved every year, especially, the defensive numbers. She, oh, man, that's crazy. She can push the pace. She could take a load off of your players. I think, I'm going to, another player, right, is Shakira Austin. She's from Ole Miss. She's a center. Another player, Kristen Bell. She's from Florida Gulf Coast. So those are a couple of players, that you should be watching for. And the draft is April 11th, and I'm definitely going to be watching it so I can learn more and see, what teams do, like the Sparks, like the Wings, like the Fever, like, the Dream. Next, I want to transition into the Queen. I'm going to start with a quote from the director of the film, The Queen of Basketball. I want to start off with a quote. If there is anyone out there who doubts that there is an audience for female athletes and questions whether their stories are valuable, or entertaining or important, let this Academy Award be the answer, right? That's from the director Ben Proudfoot. Um, the Queen of Basketball. I saw the documentary. I learned a little bit about her. I learned a little bit about Harris. Um, she died. A couple months ago. She scored the first basketball basket in Olympics women basketball history, and the first woman to officially be drafted by an NBA team. So the Queen of Basketball, was produced by Shaq. Him, Shaq O'Neal, the Diesel, Superman's in the building. Um, you know, Also Curry, the sharpshooter, the champion, the warrior, Stephen Curry, and the Queen of Basketball won an Academy Award for short subject documentary on Sunday recently, and I thought that was great. Obviously, you wish that Harris, was alive, right, to see this, but I know her family is watching and she's probably smiling down. So let me talk a little bit about Harris, right? So she's in the Hall of Fame, right? She helped Delta State University win three straight, not one, not two, not three straight national championships in the 1970s, right? She earned a silver medal for the United States at the Montreal Olympics in 1976, right? The New Orleans Jazz drafted her, right, in the seventh round. They had a lot of rounds back then in 1977, but she was pregnant and she didn't really have a desire to play in the NBA, right? So you good when you get drafted by an NBA team, right? And you a woman, and they males, and it's always like, oh, they're not fast enough, strong enough, good enough, skill enough, stay in the kitchen, blah blah blah. Well, Lusia Harris, she did that thing, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't even know about her, and we need to learn more about the women's game and learn about the history, the people that was first around. I only recently saw the Queen of Basketball this year, and then I know the New York Times did a short story about her maybe a couple years ago, and we need to learn more about them and give them their flowers while they're still here, right? And that's why I wanted the Queen of Basketball, Harris, Miss Harris, R.I.P., rest in heaven. I wanted to acknowledge her in this WNBA piece. And last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about Brittney Griner. Obviously, you hear more stories about Brittney Griner, free Brittney Griner. She was arrested in Russia, maybe a little over a month ago because, she had some hash oil, in her luggage, and it's illegal over there in Russia. And, you know, but I fully believe that if she was an NBA star like LeBron James, Curry, you know, she there would be more stories heard about her. She would be free, right? I remember, over when Trump was president, one of the Ball brothers, Leangelo, got caught stealing and was in jail. They got him out. Um, they say that Brittney, is doing okay. She's reading some books. Her bed obviously isn't very comfortable. She's with two inmates that, you know, speak the language and can translate for her. I know a lot of, USA authorities is trying to help her. I know she's supposed to, be in there until at least May 19th. They extended it. Obviously, I think it's bogus. Cannabis oil, I mean, some people use it for stress, some people use it for pain, you know, but rules are rules. Like, I'm not saying what she did. Like, some people say, oh, it was planted on her. Some people say, hey, oh, she broke the rules. She should have knew better, right? You know, that's just devil's advocate for you. You know, some people are like, well, she's been playing in Russia for years. She should know the rules, blah, blah, blah. But the thing about it is, and obviously Russia and Ukraine, they're going at it. And that is, you know, tragic what's happening. And so that's probably why, you know, she's still in there. But, you know, people do wrong things all the time. You know, that don't mean we should, you know, hate them and say, oh, they should have knew better. You know, everybody deserves freedom, you know. And the thing about it is, for me, like, are they keeping her because, you know, she's black and she's gay and they don't really like, you know, that community, the gay community over there in Russia? Is that why they're keeping her? You know, and she could face like 10 years, like, for cannabis oil. Like, marijuana should be like legal everywhere, because I think it has more benefits than, you know, cons, you know, more pros than cons. And obviously, like, people say, why is she over there? Because she want to make money for her family, for her livelihood, right? She played in the WNBA, but you can make tons of more money, you know, overseas. Sue Bird was like, she made 10 times more, you know, money over in Russia than in the WNBA, and it made her a millionaire, you know. And that's why she's playing overseas. And I feel like we gotta figure this out, because even one season, you know, Diana Taurasi's overseas team, it might have been Russia actually. Um, they were like, yo, we want you to take the WNBA season off, and we gonna pay you a lot of money to do it, because after the WNBA season, they probably all tired and banged up, full of injuries, and then they still go overseas and play for, you know, a ton of money, right? And so they don't have a lot of rest and recovery time for their bodies. And how do they work on their game if they're just constantly playing in games and practices and all that, right? So I hope it can get to a point where they don't have to go overseas to make them a millionaire, you know what I mean? And so this is how I feel. Obviously, you want more sponsorships, more investments, you know, but why go over there? To make more money. Is it a risk, right? Yeah, but sometimes people do risky things to make money. And I think one day, hopefully, you know, and it may not be now, it might be for the next wave of college athletes, you know, and then maybe their children, and then their children, where women can make millions in the WNBA. But we need to support the W. And, you know, also, speaking of the W, first of all, right, I think the authorities, they're quietly talking about her release, right? This is how I feel about it. I think on one hand you want to raise attention to Brittney Griner, but on the other hand you don't. You want her to be free, so you want more attention to her. But what I heard is you don't want to use her to be used as a bargaining chip to Russia. So don't say free Britney everywhere. So I'm not gonna talk about it too much. I just want you guys to know more about it, what I've read, and why she's over there, and the difference between the WNBA season and the overseas and the money and what that all means. But I do want to say one more thing. When the Chicago Sky won in the NBA, people wanted jerseys, right? Courtney Vandersloot, Allie Quigley. Oh, they came back. They re-signed them. Chicago Sky, what up? They re-signed them, the married couple. I think that's awesome. Play basketball together and all that. People, it was hard to find Chicago Sky, Phoenix Mercury merchandise, right? The merchandise needs to be better, right? You need to be able to get your hands on these players' jerseys, these teams, clothing to support them. But if you're having trouble even finding their, memorabilia, their clothes online, how can you support the team? And if it's taking so long to get mailed and shipped to you, and there's not a lot of creative, styles and sizes, and I think that's a problem too, especially if you're in the WNBA finals and you can't find gear. Like, everyone can't go to the game and go to their store, so the store online should help you. Or when you go on Fanatics, you should have more, options. So I think that's another way to help the W. But I'm gonna. Oh, also last night I was watching, the Elite Eight, UConn versus NC State. Man, Paige Beckers, she can play in the WNBA right now. She could have played probably when she was in high school in the WNBA right now. I think they should actually make a rule that says, hey, after 2 years, you can go on. You don't gotta wait, till you like 22. But I understand why they want to make the college game exciting, and you form more bonds with them over the years in their 4-year career or 3-year. Candace Parker was the first one to do the whole 3-year thing because she was old enough. But man, that girl's clutch. She's fearless. She's so exciting. So congrats to UConn. They're gonna have to play Stanford. I have no idea who's gonna win that game. I actually picked South Carolina, and I also picked Stanford to be in the final game, championship game, and I picked South Carolina to win the whole thing because Aaliyah Boston, she missed that layup last year, and so I think she's gonna redeem herself. And shout out to Dawn Staley. I really like her. I think she's another one that can coach in the NBA, but she's a legend already in South Carolina, so I think she's gonna keep doing that. But before I go, make sure you subscribe to I BE BALLIN basketball show on YouTube. I just joined TikTok, Ashley I BE BALLIN. Also, follow me on Instagram, Ashley I BE BALLIN, and support, like, comment, share. Thank you so much. That's signing off, talking about the WNBA, a little bit about college, a little bit about Brittney Griner, and the queen of basketball, Miss Harris. Thank you. Peace. I be ballin'. It's your girl, Young Ash. Peace.